I got to lean in.
What's going on, everybody? It is me again. It is time to lean in, bitch, for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. We are your favorite Jersey boys. No, I'm just like, we're not Jersey boys, child, but we're the Jersey panel. Mine is Jamie, who cannot be here today. We're here to talk about the latest episode titled Family, Family, Family. That's all they want to fucking talk about, specifically Melissa and Teresa. What's going on to everybody in the chat? Kevin, Lock Queen, Chase. What's going on, Chase, in the chat? Gary. And what's going on to y'all? And Sammy, how y'all doing today?
Doing good, ready to talk about it as always.
Cool.
Yeah.
You thought the episode was that good? Were you really excited to talk about it?
I actually enjoyed the episode.
Okay. I just finished it. So it got better. For a while I was like, all right, get there.
It got better, then it went down. Then it started off okay, it went down. We had this group scene, and then it went back up.
How y'all feel about the new girls? Did y'all feel they clocking in? Or y'all still feel like they acting like fans?
Danielle's clocking into me.
Danielle is making her presence known. You don't think Rachel is kind of doing a little bit? No. I really like Rachel. I like Danielle too.
Because you like Marge.
What?
Ain't that Marge's friend?
Well, you know what? In this episode, I'm definitely back Team Marge because Jen getting on my goddamn nerves. I'll just say that. But we'll get into that later. If you're watching right now, go ahead and hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications about all of our upcoming shows. Don't forget this show is every Wednesday. We're back for Real Housewives of Potomac on Monday. And for those that are watching, what is it called? What's the show? What's Candy's show called? What the Escape and SWV? What is it called?
The Queens of R&B.
The Queens of R&B. We're going to be doing that show. It's going to be a recorded show, and it's going to be hosted by Chase. So just subscribe to the channel and stay tuned to the channel, and you'll be able to know when those will be posted as well. Miami is also back this week, too. So get ready for that double feature. All right. So last week was the premiere for Real Housewives of New Jersey, and it was pretty interesting. The leading storylines are, of course, Melissa, and Teresa having their family issues. Of course, they have now involved Louis and Joe. And then you have Jen and Dolores. And how we left off last week was when Jen and Dolores had a conversation. Jen stormed off with her heel and her boot and told, basically went off on Dolores and told her she looked like an old handbag and read her for film, which we all agreed she did. And so we pick up in this episode right where that finished off. And they show this footage of Dolores, basically moments where she has been defending Jen against other women. Do y'all feel like that footage helped her case? Do you feel like maybe she still... Do y'all agree with Jen that she's not had her back and not been a good friend? Because I guess that was the purpose of the footage. What y'all think?
I remember saying last week that I understood where Dolores was coming from as far as Jen, after filming, started doing interviews saying that Dolores wasn't a good friend because we saw her doing the episodes when she had Jennifer's back. So yeah. I don't know where it came from. I guess because Dolores kind of agreeing with Marge on certain things when it came to their situation. She just felt like Dolores wasn't being a good friend, but I always thought she was a good friend to Jennifer.
Okay.
I agree. I think Dolores was a good friend to Jennifer. I do want to say that one clip they showed where Dolores was telling Marge you were wrong for mentioning the bill thing. Later on in that same conversation, Marge turned it around and had said something that Jen had done. And
I remember that.
And Dolores was like, oh, well, I didn't know that. That changes everything. So, I mean, that something like that could be why, Jen is feeling that way. But at the same time, I don't want Jen and Dolores to be the new Teresa and Melissa because I can't do. I'm 2 episodes in and I'm sick of it already.
You know what? You know why I won't get that way? Because Dolores truly does not care. Like I think she's only caring because Jen is constantly like, you know how somebody's like talking about you while you're as if you're not in the room. Yeah. Like Jen is kind of doing that. And I think that's what I think Dolores is getting more irritated and impatient with it, to be honest.
But I know on Watch What Happens Live yesterday, Teresa said that they are fine now, them too.
Okay. Well, they fine now, but when they start watching these clips
or reunion,
and they get to the reunion, we're gonna really see because I've never seen people become okay, and then by the end of the season, they still okay after all their drama. I mean,
because they see confessionals and
and then they have the after show they're gonna do probably. They're gonna talk more about it then. So they probably okay right now, but it will get back there. And Jen has a mouth, so I think she will definitely reach back. Okay, so Jen feels like Dolores doesn't care, in which I feel like she doesn't either. And Dolores says that this is a relationship she just does not want to have. At this rate, she ain't got to be friends with a person like that. She good. And so that's how they end on that scene. There's like some individual, like smaller scenes with Danielle and her child. And I am kind of growing to like Danielle. I like her energy. I will say that it's very different for Jersey, and that I've seen in a while, to where she's very up tempo. And so I think she'll be good in that area. We'll see how she goes. I don't want to favor her because these newbies, they will do some shit. He'd be like, ew. So I'm gonna save my thoughts, but I do like her thus far. And Jim is where her daughter read the hell out of her nose, told her that she gonna keep her beautiful natural nose. Kudos to her daughter on having some sense at a young age. Jim would have not touched hers as much as she did. And Teresa is doing her wedding planning. So we're going to see the invitations and stuff later. But the first, I guess, scene that they kind of focused on was Melissa and Joe. And they're essentially talking about Melissa and Teresa hosting an event in LA. There's an event that they're supposed to have together. I live in LA. I ain't heard nothing about it, but I guess I ain't know about it. So why would I know, right? So Melissa is worried that, it's going to be awkward when they get to the event. And she's still, holding on to the fact that Louis called her insecure. She doesn't understand how Louis could kind of, come for her in that kind of way, because she felt like she had his back if nothing else. And then Joe talks about, their seating at the engagement party and how they were not sitting with Teresa. It just felt like at this rate, like she doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't understand what's going on. He feels like their parents are probably disappointed because, like, look at what's happening with them now. From them not being seated there at the same table to Melissa not being a part of the wedding. He just doesn't. He feels a way about all of this. Did you have any thoughts on this scene?
I will say that I call BS because we all seen Louis basically begging Joe, please come sit and speak with us outside of the camera. So we also saw when his dad was living, how he barely went over there and spent time with the dad. So are you really concerned with how your parents are viewing y'all? Or are you just trying to make yourself look like, you're being the victim? Joe and Melissa, they were just full of shit. Every scene they had this episode was very woe is me when it came to Teresa, and it was very just pathetic to watch.
Mm-hmm. I say this all the time. I really want to know what their identity is outside of Teresa. Like, they literally have zero identity outside of her. Like, zero. Every scene is about her. Teresa really don't talk about them unless she's asked. They start off talking about her.
Yeah. I concur. I agree. And they're going to talk about Melissa. They're going to talk about Teresa again when we get to these invitations.
And again,
so we'll talk about that too when we get there. So Jen invites Danielle over. Danielle is just fascinated with how big Jen's home is. I see why when we get to her house later on. Now, her house is still a nice house, but I thought there was this summer up the street because their backyard, it seems so small. But hey, listen, she'll get there. Maybe give another season until she makes it that far, and she'll have a bigger backyard, I'm sure. But Danielle, feels like she vibes with Jen. She sees that Jen may not be the best with everybody in the group, and so but she feels like she has great energy with Jen. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Because who is she Jen's friend? Did I miss this?
She's Teresa's. But I think that she's come with Jennifer and Teresa outside of all.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So in this moment, Jen calls Teresa because she wants to hear more about the conversation with Marge. And Teresa says it's a fresh breath of air.
It's so serious.
I like how Jen corrected her, but still kind of kept it moving. She basically was like, girl.
No, she called it. She was like, oh, yeah.
You're right. Teresa is, wait. But we love her for it. And so in this conversation, Teresa and Jen basically talk about this person that was once friends with Marge and has given them all these details and information on Marge. But yeah, I guess she had a Mayday, and she knows that Marge is at it with these two women, specifically Jen, and recently with Teresa. So apparently she gave them all this tea. They listen. Jen said she's gonna put it in her back pocket. She ain't gonna use it unless she has to. I mean, essentially, right? She will use it. And they have all this information. So how do y'all feel about them kind of listening to this, taking it in? I mean, this how y'all feel about how did y'all feel when y'all heard that they have information, listen to this person that's now beefing with Marge after kind of both recently hashing it out with Marge? Just curious.
Well, for me, I never ever. So, and I get that they're not friends with this person, but I never want to hear something from someone after they fall out with somebody else. I've never been the one to want that type of information because I'm gonna question the legitimacy of it. But B, also, if I say that I'm gonna start fresh with you, no matter what you may have done before, I'm not going to go that route. That's just me. Otherwise, we're both just being fake then. To me.
I'm with you on that, Danny, but I think for the sake of like Housewives culture, I'm not mad at Jen, especially after the reunion. Did her and Marge really just leave on the best terms? And just like she said, if this was Marge and somebody was calling Marge to tell her about me, would Marge listen? Absolutely. Marge would have got all that information. So I'm not mad at Jennifer for doing so either.
Yeah,
I mean, like you say, for Housewives culture, I get it. I'm just speaking. I would have moved
culture, but I just I don't know. Teresa, I don't know so I get it. Marge, I mean, just last week, she had the conversation with Teresa, and then she came to know from Teresa saying like she was half the reason why her and Melissa are in a bad place, and then you go and you tell her more tea. It's like it wasn't malicious, but this is not going to help the situation. So I feel the same about this. I think they're making up with Teresa. I mean, they're making up with Marge and then going behind and talking to somebody else. It's not. There's no good intention with that to me, especially if this person is talking dirty or mean. I get y'all may not be besties. You don't have loyalty, but if you truly want to get to a good place with somebody, like Danny said, you kind of have to move in that way. And I mean, they didn't do that. So Marge, to me, has every right to come back at them, especially Jen, like she does later.
I hope Jen realizes, in her saying that, would Marge do this? I hope she realizes that they're really two sides of the same coin, and that's probably why they never really get along, because they really are the same person. They
know what I'm saying? They do the same thing. So I mean, it's like, sorry, Marge, like I love you, but girl.
and I'm also glad that when Marge asked her, Jennifer was like, "Yeah, I absolutely listen." I'm glad
I do respect that.
Deflect or deny it.
Yeah,
she does own it now.
What was I gonna say? So definitely I heard about the information. So any other thoughts on that? If I was moving to the next scene? No. Okay. We get to meet Rachel Fuda and her family. She has a newborn, a young little baby, cute little baby. She wants some cheese. And she talks about being a stepmom. I believe that is his son, right? So it looks like she helped raise him. And but those were older pictures and videos of him, right? Because that was him at the table, right?
Yeah, that was him.
Okay, I'm like, did I miss something? And then I was confused. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, wait, where's the child? But whatever. So then Danielle, now help me with this. Is it mozzarella or mozzarella? What the hell is it?
Mozzarella.
I never heard anybody use that before. When I go to Olive Garden, I say mozzarella.
Mozzarella stick.
I say it too, but probably.
But you know what? But I have never known that, and that's crazy that I've been saying. I feel like I'm just saying.
Well, I'm still say mozzarella.
But see, now I want to say mozzarella.
I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna bit my tongue.
I'm just thinking, I get some of that cheese right there.
Well, listen, we're gonna say mozzarella because I ain't got time to keep trying to roll my tongue.
Because if not, why is the A there?
I ain't right. Why is it long like mozzarella? So they mentioned Danielle's party that's coming up later, and we'll talk about that. All right, so there is a little small gathering held at who hosted the event? Was it Marge?
It was Marge.
Marge's little gathering or whatever it was with Jen Fessler. I love that her name is Fessler. You gotta say her full name, but Jen Fessler, Melissa, Dolores, and Jackie is there, and they play these little games about things that they've said in the past. But after that, Melissa brings up how LA was with Teresa. And if you pay attention, Melissa has made it seem like it was very awkward. They did not really talk. And that's just what happened, right? So keep that in mind when we get to what the hell Teresa said happened in fucking LA, because they were so opposite. But Melissa says basically she's done faking it with Teresa and she sees it for what it is. And that's how she's going to move forward with Teresa. So Jackie has her little 2 seconds on camera because I guess she's still working for, her spot. She says that she feels like Jen is more dangerous than Teresa. Do y'all agree with that?
Yeah. I'm going to say this, and this is not to dig at Teresa because, I love her. Okay. But I think Jen is more dangerous than Teresa because she's smarter. She's smarter. She don't back down. She's Teresa. I love her, but there are moments where Teresa kind of does backtrack a little bit when she said, she'll backtrack. Jen stands in everything.
I think she's more dangerous because Jen is reckless, smarter. Yeah. Her and Teresa would know the same information, but Teresa can hold it until she feels like she has to use it. The first chance Jen get.
Teresa has the temper of danger, but Jen has the mouth. She has the action. She's a little more, particular about what she does. She can kind of So I agree with that. But I can't remember, how did Jackie and Jen finish off last season? They was on bad terms. I can't remember.
No, they actually did. Remember when Teresa walked off and was trying to get better with Louis at the reunion, and Jackie was telling her, "I just feel like when you're with us, you're a different person." She tried to kind of, and from then on, they kind of went out at the reunion being okay. So when Jackie said that, I was just like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, I see Billy in the comments says Jen plays dirty. Yeah, I'm okay. So it's not like we all kind of feel like that. Okay. So after that, Marge basically reveals that she knows that Jen and Teresa have spoken to, Marge's ex-friend. And she found out from somebody on Jen's team or Jen's camp, as she said it. And she just feels like, why would they be talking to somebody? Like, why would they be doing that? She said she feels like if we have made up and moved into a good place, how could they be talking to somebody that has, malicious intent for me? And so that's kind of how that scene ends. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because it'll come back up later when we talk about it at the final party. Okay. Do y'all have any thoughts on Dolores and Paul's date night? Dolores want to be low key, keep it on low, and Paul, I want to be out. I want to be social. But she seems happy. She says that she is doing things that she used to comfort others about, having screensavers and wallpapers and stuff like that. So she seems happy.
Got a whole cake made with their picture.
All of it. Dolores he putting that thing down on that black Dolores.
Baby, he is. He always He always he's holding his breath. He's so red.
He looks stuffed. Yeah.
He do be
if you poke him with a pin, it's gonna be like grease coming.
Kind of remind me of Mario, like Mario from the Mario Brothers.
No, he don't look like that. Yeah. Koopa Trooper maybe.
Okay, Wario.
King Koopa.
King Koopa. Not the little shell man, not Bowser. I'm just playing.
The red one. The
red. Okay, so Teresa's invitations arrive. And we already know what happened with that because Ramona actually revealed the invitation. So I'm sure we all saved them and saw it back then. But the invitations arrived. They actually were really nice because the quality of Ramona's camera was not the best anyway. But they were really nice, actually. But the people that were talking about them the most I feel like they probably was very surprised they got one was Joe and Melissa. And this is Joe going in again about how he feels, he at this point, getting the invitation has triggered him to feel even worse that Melissa's not a part of the wedding. And he basically says he thought that Louis would be much better than the old Joe, but he feels like if nothing else, he damn near worse, or if not just the same as he was. And I'm just like, okay. And he felt like he should keep the peace. And my thoughts to this before I pass you guys is that Joe needs to practice what he preached because he could also be keeping the peace. I feel like he could really reel Melissa in and kind of get her to listen, this is my sister. but he kind of eggs her on. I feel like he's the one he's her producer. He's telling her what to do, what to say, when he really could be the peace and the Zen person that he feels like Louis should be. Louis is brand new to this, to be honest. So I don't expect that for him. I think he's doing a good job with Teresa because we don't really see him just talking about them, He don't really be talking too much. At least I'm usually missing it. But give me y'all thoughts on this part and the invitations and Danny.
I'm adjust to what you were saying about him producing his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I've said it before, and I'm gonna continue to say this till they go off the show.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot have peace with Teresa. There will be no reason for them to be on the show. They are not interesting. They're not going to talk about them selling them fake purses at retail prices. Like, there's so much stuff that they could be talking about, but all this going after Teresa is just smoke and mirrors, so they don't have to talk about their own life that nobody wants to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, I hate them. I hate them so much. I really do. Sorry.
I absolutely agree, Cortez. It's very clear that the husbands, they can influence how those women act. You have Louis telling Teresa, be better. You have Paul telling Dolores, like, let it go if she can't let it go. And then here you have Joe taking it on Melissa to keep it up. I think with him and Melissa's biggest issue is with Louis is not Joe Guidice. So they can't come to Teresa's rescue when Joe was doing Teresa, when she was doing Teresa bad, when he was doing Teresa bad. They made it seem like, oh, this is my sister. We care about her. You're so wrong. Now, Louis here treating Teresa well, and Teresa has some sense about herself, about how she wants to move with them, and they're not liking it because now where do we come in and save Teresa and look like the good guys again? I'm just over Joe and Melissa, especially when it comes to Teresa.
Dollface. So Dollface 2905 says, I like Joe and Melissa, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm curious, because I like that. I mean, when people do like them, because there are Melissa stands out there, to be honest,
Like too.
I don't know if there's any on the lean, but that doesn't make it invalid at all. So let me know how you feel, and if you can call in, I would like to hear other perspectives on why you like them and how you feel as far as them versus Teresa, or maybe Dollface actually likes Joe and Melissa but likes Teresa too. That could be two things in exist at once. So anyway, we'll keep on going with the rest of the show. So we get to Danielle's mozzarella party. That's what I'm gonna keep saying. And we find out that Teresa, well, we already knew this, but Teresa sent new invitations because she wanted it to be more of a private thing, thanks to Ramona. They start off by asking Dolores if she has spoken to Jen. She says nah, because speaking to somebody while they're in a hot moment, it's just never going to be a good thing. And so Teresa tells Jen that wait, hold on, I got that wrong bit. So yeah, they sit down, and Teresa basically says that Jen feels like Dolores, you invited her to the event, and so since she came to the event, she feels like that should be acknowledged. And Dolores is just like, why do I have to acknowledge her or say anything about her coming to an event? I could have just not invited her at all if that's what it was about. Now, Jen Fessler's on the side yeah, I'm like, all right, Jen, girl, shut up. But she keeps going at some point, and we'll talk about that too. But Dolores is just like, listen, y'all stop taking up for this. And I don't know if she said the B word. Was it cunt?
She did.
Okay, I figured it was see you next Tuesday, but I wasn't sure. So I was like, I think it is. I was like, child, so stop taking up for her, period. Which is interesting because usually in the past, sometimes it will be Dolores kind of sticking up for her in this way. But she tells Teresa, stop sticking up for her. And so Teresa says at the table that her and Melissa had a great time in LA. And I'm just like, now, wait a damn minute. Now, who is lying here? Who got it mixed up? Now, because if you're watching the show, even in episode 2, I will say Melissa's interpretations are, it was bad, it was awful, it was uncomfortable. But every time Teresa speaks, it was okay, it was cool. I don't understand the problem. So it's like, do you think Teresa is really playing a game here to where she's go ahead.
I think she just don't care anymore. I think when they're in that setting in LA, she's having a good time. If they're having drama, I'm not paying attention. Melissa is still so bothered by Teresa's presence, and if Teresa's not upset, that pisses her off even more. So it's just, I think Teresa was just moving, having a good time, and to Teresa there was no conflict, so it was a good time. They've alwaed so much conflict that if there is no conflict, even if there's not much going on, much talking, it was a good time because we got along.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You agree? You agree? Okay.
I don't see them being out there just not speaking when they cross paths, and I think just speaking enough was good enough for Teresa and for Melissa.
Melissa did say that they were. She made a comment that she's tired of faking it. So what I feel like it was is that for the purpose of the event, they made it work. You know, just like Ultimate Girls Trip. Like you could watch that show and probably think that they was okay, right? Until that one little scene you got. So then that's maybe was, you know, I think like you said, Teresa's just like she don't really care. You know, that's Melissa that's like drowning in her pain of whatever she's not getting from Teresa at this point. So
that's Melissa off more that Teresa don't care.
But that's crazy part. I hope Melissa's watching this back like, damn, this bitch really don't care because she don't. She really doesn't. And so at this point, Jen arrives and she asks, "Where is Jackie?" And like, did you invite Jackie? And Danielle says, you know, the last time we was at the other events, I wasn't really feeling her. She was sizing me up, looking me up and down. She was uppity and she was rude. Rachel Fuda agrees. And Jen says, okay, well, oh, interesting. Is that why, you know, you snapped at me? And Jen was like, well, no, you snapped at me. Because this is the whole back and forth they had when they showed the clip when Rachel told Jen that basically she is upset for someone for the same thing her husband did. And so basically calling her a hypocrite. Mm-hmm. And so while she's mentioning hypocrite, you know, Marge is like, let's not use the word hypocrite, honey, because you are over here going behind my back and blah, blah, blah. Stay off the word hypocrite. Stay off the word hypocrite. And they kind of diffuse the situation for now. Thoughts on Jackie not being invited and the exchange between Rachel and Jen?
I wasn't mad at Jackie not being invited, but I was shocked that Danielle had caught her with all the sizing up and how she was looking at her stuff. Because we saw it last week when they walked in. Yeah. I didn't know that she had to do it many more times than that because it was clear that Danielle didn't see her do it that one particular time they showed on screen. So she had to be doing it a lot for Danielle to say, I'm not comfortable inviting her to my home.
Okay. I mean, like we did mention it last week.
Yeah.
And they showed the clips. You know, I mean, Jackie, she does have that about her. And the other ladies, they did agree. They did say that, you know, she is kind of uppity. I don't know why. She has a lot of money. We know that. But it's just like, I don't think she has the room to be there. Outside of the money, realistically, she's not that fab. She's really
didn't Marge come in and say,
"That's all about her, Evan"?
You said what, Danny?
And then Marge comes in. We can all be uppity.
Yeah, no, not like her. I guess in this case, you know. So hey, kudos to Danielle for helping Bravo ice her out because we was tired of her anyway. Maybe she got to stay at home and have a piece of bread.
Can you imagine her having to work with cheese?
Oh, maybe another reason why she didn't invite her child was too much food.
You about to get us canceled, Cortez.
Shout out to Nisha. She says just stopping by to show you guys some love. Hey Nisha, did you watch the episode? Let us know if you did, and try to call in if you can. Taylor says Jen always wants smoke. It's exhausting. Okay, so after that, they make the mozzarella or whatever you want to call it. And while after they finish that, there's a conversation between Jen and Marge. This is where Marge goes to Jen and talks to her about her knowing that she spoke to her I guess once friend, and Jen admitted and said, yeah, she did. She did or whatever. And you know, Marge just basically wants her to say it's a mistake and own up to it, not own up to it of doing it, but own up to the fact that she feels like it was wrong. And Jen is like, no, I don't think that it's wrong. Like, it's okay for me to. She doesn't see an issue with, you know, listening to the girl. They kind of get into a whole back and forth. Marge says it's marijuana paranoia.
and that I would have spilled everything.
That really pissed Jen off, and you know, Marge told her to get help as she storms off. I'll stop right there because Melissa did kind of get involved without getting involved because she was on the side. And although she didn't come to anybody's defense or side, she was still right there. I wish she would just stayed out of it, and stayed in the little kiddie pool they were in to the right. But it kind of comes into a whole screaming match to where, Marge is talking to the other women. Jen is telling her, like, you don't have the right to do that. No, you can't talk to people as if I'm not standing right here. I'm like, Jen, to be honest, you did this to Dolores last week. You did the same thing. So honestly, whatever Marge wanted to say, whether it was she said you was crazy or not, you spilling your narrative to everybody last week at the party. I'm just saying. And Marge says, well, listen, you have a problem with everybody. You got a problem with Dolores. And Jen says, I don't have a problem with Dolores. Dolores has a problem with me. Dolores says, no, I don't. And Jen says, well, good, because you don't care. Dolores gets up. I'm like, oh, shit. What's going to happen? Oh, shit. What's going to happen? She gets up. And she basically tells her, like, listen, you got a problem. You want to talk to me? Come to me. Don't be talking about me around me. And Jen Fessler gets involved. Dolores tells her new girl, shut up. Not right now, not this place. And I was glad because I'm like, Jen is saying a lot of nothing. I want her to be quiet. So give me your thoughts.
I think the most disturbing thing about Fessler getting involved was the way she started scarfing that cheese down when they kept showing. That was pissing me off. It was so disgusting. But no, I guess I'm still bothered at the way Jen was handling the whole Dolores thing, like talking to everybody but her, and then says, yeah, because I wanted it to get back to you so you can come to me. Like, girl.
Do you feel like the same? I mean, so in this moment, do you get what I'm saying when I feel like she was doing the same thing? Because Marge was basically telling them, I mean, she was talking about her, and the reason why Jen got upset is because Jen was like, you're not going to be sitting over here calling me, saying I need help and things like that. Whatever it was, she was doing the same thing. I'm like, girl,
I took it more so as Jen was saying, like, who are you to tell me what I need to do to correct my behavior? Because she was saying, like, who needs parents when you got a Marge? Because Marge was basically saying she needs help, she needs therapy, this, that, and the third. And Jennifer was like, hold on, girl, you can't tell me what I need to do to make myself better. That's what I got. I mean, that's what Marge was like, well, you got a problem with everybody, so you clearly need some help. And that's how the Dolores thing got involved with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she mentioned Dolores, and Dolores is like, no, baby. Like, she stood about that damn kiddie pool.
I really don't want to see them argue no more. I'm over them too. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I know it's gonna happen. I just like, ugh.
She ate that cheese like she is just into the hunger. She was eating boots, baby.
It was actually like a savage, like an animal.
It started with, what was it, Melissa, when she asked Melissa, what is this? Is this yours? Can I have it? I said, there ain't no more on the table somewhere. You're just gonna take Melissa? God damn.
Jen Fess is the person that go back for thirds and fourths and fifths. And knowing damn well everybody ain't eight, but she already at the table getting fourths.
But you know what, though? At a party, I ain't gonna blame her. Do what you do, because they ain't got no business sitting around being cute anyways. Go eat, Jennifer.
Girl, we filming, girl. You're supposed to eat cute. Okay? Don't be like Candy. Don't be like Candy. No, it's like Candy gonna eat regardless. But I mean, they go back and forth. So it looks like, Marge and Jen are like not in a good place because of this. We did ask last season, do we think they're gonna get back to the same? Yeah, they are already back now, and there's more to it, I believe, because I feel like in the trailer for the season, they had another moment. Now, as far as Dolores and Jen, I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest. It's right now with the Jersey storylines, there's a person that's mad and there's a person that doesn't care, and that's what's happening. Melissa and Teresa and Jen and Dolores. Like, Dolores don't give a damn, Jen is mad. Teresa don't give a damn, and Melissa is mad. And it's like, it's not entertaining, at least not yet. I don't know. Maybe the new girls will shake something.
It's never been entertaining.
You haven't said that? No. And so at the end, Teresa starts to talk about that there would not be a seating arrangement. I believe she said at the wedding, right? And Marge was like, well, good, because the last time you had a seating arrangement, it was a bad problem, alluding to Melissa not sitting at the same table at the engagement party. And Teresa says that Melissa asked to move, and Melissa says that Teresa is lying, and they go back and forth about who's right and who's wrong and where she sat and how the family, this and that. Apparently, it's a big thing for Italian families to sit at a certain table, sit with their family. And they kind of circle back to New York to the reunion where Melissa is. So Teresa says like, clearly this is why you were upset in New York. And then Melissa's like, yeah, this is why I was upset because you were also very, very mean in New York. And Teresa explains to her why she was not added to why she's not a part of the wedding. And it's because of Marge. She feels like she was not there for her when Marge was attacking her last year. Melissa's upset. Teresa's like, listen, hey, I'm not trying to be rude or come in a bad way. I'm just telling you how I felt. And Melissa's not trying to hear it. And the episode goes off. Thoughts?
I will say Teresa's lying. Because if y'all remember at the reunion when they were talking about the seating arrangement, Teresa was like, well, I didn't have anything to do with it. Somebody else made the seating arrangement. That's what Marge was like, there's no way that you had no input in your own seating arrangement. And then Teresa cussed Marge the fuck out. I don't know where she got off saying that Melissa asked her. I don't believe that. I do believe that either somebody else did the seating arrangements or Teresa did the seating arrangements and she's just putting it off on somebody else. But she never intended on Melissa and Joe to sit at the table with them. And I get it, but I wish she would just be honest about that.
And that's why I say I feel like there's moments where Teresa is honest, and there's moments where I feel like she's playing a game because like I can't say she's 100% innocent. It's like I do think she don't give a damn, but I think she plays both sides, because she knows it gets under their skin. So some of these things are intentional. I'll say that.
Yeah, it just like she was upset because they didn't have Louis back with Marge, so she's not invited into the wedding. That's the same reason you set them at that guest table in the back at the engagement party, because that all happened after the season.
Yeah. Yep. Lisa, that's so petty. Teresa's still holding grudges, I guess. Yeah, she does. Teresa has the upper hand in this situation, not because she's been there the longest as OG, but because like she's the one getting married, right? She's the one that has like simply not having this girl in the wedding, Melissa in the wedding, has like made them like the worst. They're mad as hell, like they're pissed.
I don't know. In your wedding, to me, it's not about holding grudges. To me, your bridal party, it's supposed to be people actually really close to you and you get along with. Her and Melissa don't get along. Like Melissa just wants to do it for camera time and to be included for pictures. That's the real reason Melissa's upset about it. I mean,
how you think? I mean, maybe it's deeper for them,
Maybe, but at the end of the day, you can't. If you don't, you got to do your part too. Like Melissa, neither one is innocent. They both keep throwing daggers, but it's not holding grudges if we never got okay. Like,
and that's what I don't get why Melissa and Joe are so frustrated about it. When Melissa has said time and time again, we've been faking it, and I'm tired of faking it.
Yeah,
you're tired of faking it. Teresa's pretty tired too. Like, why do you want to be in this lady's wedding if you don't really care for her? Just because it's your husband's sister?
That's very true.
It makes no sense.
And the way she was blowing up at the end of that last scene going rah-rah, she was trying to make Teresa come out of character so that she could say, see, you really haven't changed. She was trying to get Teresa to come out of character, and she was performing. Melissa was performing very much. Like, she was acting.
Well, she almost did get Teresa, because Teresa said, you know what? This is why you're not in the wedding. This is why. I said, oh, here we go. Here we go.
I mean, in that moment, I respected Teresa. She just I know it hurts Melissa that she got to hear that, but girl, it's the truth. That's how she feels. She just feels like, listen, she feels like she didn't have her back. Realistically, I do wish Melissa would have kind of had this lady's back. Maybe they'd be in a better space. Maybe Teresa's using this because she just don't like the heifer regardless. But in this moment, she has a valid reason. If I feel like somebody was not defending me and my spouse, why would I want you to be a part of me and my spouse?
Agreed. And then people keep saying, stuff like, but Joe is her brother. But her own brother is allowing his wife to disrespect her. Like, he's not even coming to Teresa's defense. So why should it be such a big deal that that's her brother? He's not doing his part as a brother for her and defending her or even telling his wife, chill. He's not doing that.
It's not like these aren't. It's new to them. We saw the scenes last year when Melissa went back and read the text. We saw her last year at the table, and she was basically telling Melissa, like, tell Marge to drop it. Tell Marge to shut the hell up. We saw her call Joe and specifically told him, if you and Melissa don't stop this with Marge, we ain't going to have no type of relationship. And now that we're here, they're confused about it. When she told y'all verbatim that this was going to happen.
Melissa has wanted Teresa spotlight since day one.
It's a lot of comments here. Hey, Chastity, you gonna call in today? You didn't call in. I ain't cause you called in since last year. Last season rather. Melissa called her out. Why y'all capping for Trey? I'm not capping for Trey.
We're being honest for
Like
Trey.
she
Somebody has to be.
definitely has. Well, I'm 50-50 with her. I do think she has her hand in the pot. But on some of this, I do feel like it could have been avoided. You know, I don't think it should all fall on Teresa. I think that Joe, since he has a large influence in both their lives, he should be the zen and peacemaker that he feels like Louis should be. But Joe ain't gonna do that because Joe is a damn bitch. Now I do like that.
Like you said, Melissa admitted that they've been faking it. Melissa admitted that Teresa's been faking it, and Melissa admitted that she's been being fake. So I mean,
let's be real. Let's be real.
It's both of them.
I mean, they family. They family, Chastity. They family. And I feel like, you know, it's some
but Chastity, you're saying this as if Teresa just started off their argument. Teresa called him that. Like,
she called him that at the reunion, which means everything that
everything is already happening.
It was already over with.
Yeah, like. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, listen, we're gonna we have a call in the queue. I do see y'all's comments, but if y'all have more to say, y'all should definitely call in. I would love to hear from Billy, Chastity, Dollface, and you can call in and do. You can just do like audio, no video, just to hear. Because I mean, it seems like y'all are Team Trey, so you know. We welcome it actually. So call in and give us more of your opinions because I mean I know y'all get tired of typing down there, child. So click the link. I'll put it in the chat if y'all want to try. But first, I'll get one of our callers on right now, who is Lisa. What's going on, Lisa?
Hey, darling.
How you doing?
No, I can't. Hey, darling. How y'all my babies doing?
How you doing?
Right. How you
Happy
doing?
Wednesday.
I'm doing just fine. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm on Teresa and Jan. This is one thing I want to say about Jan. I like Jan taking up for herself, but I'm saying, I mean, Jan, you were there when it comes to Dolores, and I think what's the problem is Dolores keeps saying, "I don't care about it," and it hurts Jan's feelings.
Mhm.
Jan said, "Well, it hurt my feelings that you don't care no more." And I think that's the problem of it is. Other than that, I'm like, baby, when it came to Marge would have met with somebody. It came to Jean, she would have met with that person and kept him and keep it moving. Because you know, I ain't no big Marge fan. I can't stand Marge. She always got to be in other people's business. You know what I'm saying? She got to stay in other people's business. And that's how I feel about that. Other than that, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Then get all the tea, get all the tea. So when it's time, you bounce on that heifer and you will reveal all the tea about that heifer, okay? Because let's keep it real. If it was March would do the same dumb thing. She'll do the same damn thing. And I'm telling you, too, I am tired of Teresa and Melissa. Okay, we always Melissa and Joe is fame whores. Okay, they want all the fame that Teresa got, and that's what it is. Melissa won't even not be irrelevant if it wasn't for Teresa. Let's get that straight. Okay, because don't nobody really care about Melissa. That's how I feel about that. And I think it is some truth to that story because what I believe is I really do believe of it because you remember the first when Joe and them first came on, Joe had a problem with with Teresa's husband because her father had had more friendship with Teresa's ex-husband. And he didn't like that. That's what I'm talking about. You don't like nobody that takes away. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm just getting tired. I'm just getting tired of Joe and Melissa. They really need to go sit down somewhere. I really am. At first, I was a big fan of Melissa and Joe. I thought they were funny, but now I see what they doing. They trying to do something because if you hear Carlos King said that Melissa had already had joined the show, and Teresa didn't not find out, didn't know nothing about it until 2 weeks before filming. A week or 2 weeks. Don't y'all not remember Carlos King said that?
Well, they talked about that on Ultimate Girl Trip, right? What they said?
Yeah,
They had been
that's
a
what I'm talking
conversation
about. See,
before,
but
yeah.
Carlos Kim confirmed it though. But that's what I'm talking about though. So Teresa did not know her family was filming though. Did nobody tell her? Did she did not find out? She said Joe Melissa did not tell her that they was going to do that because they want Melissa want what Teresa have in the spotlight.
Mhm.
And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion on that. And I like the two new girls. I like the two little new girls. I like they seem like they got some good looking husbands. You know what I'm saying? So I like the husbands and stuff. But other than that, child, I'm so tired. Teresa, Joe, and now they got Poe Louis involved. And Louis don't know, but at least Louis is. I like Louis. I did like Louis release those text messages. He showed. He said, "Yeah, y'all come on to the birthday party. Come on
Oh
now.
yeah,
We
the
don't
ones
want to go."
that right. Was it last week?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of messages came out last week.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I like that. I mean, so other than that, I'm tired. I'm like I said, I'm tired. But now, baby, I'm glad that now Marge would have did the same thing to
Mm.
Jen. She would have went married with home girl. She would sit down with home girl and just release all the information. So I'm glad Jen did go meet with home girl. Yeah, say the information, Jen. And when it's time, you pounce on that heifer
Okay,
and
listen.
you let all the secrets out. But
Okay,
other than that, I love my babies. I miss y'all. I know I gotta start coming back regularly,
yes,
like I
Mhm.
was
They
then.
do.
I got some more calls.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for calling. Okay.
Okay, love you,
Bye,
darling.
Lisa.
All right. Our next call is going to be Chastity. Now I'm
Come on,
ready.
that's the tea.
Come on in, and come on in,
Come
Chastity.
on in
Is
the
this
room.
Pink
Oh, welcome
Melissa over here?
Wait, hold on. Cheers.
Cheers,
back.
a long time.
Cheers to you.
So I know it's been a minute, a lot going
Mhm.
on, but I do watch her on the back end all the time though. So
We appreciate
so
it.
you know. Okay, so let me because this whole Teresa and Melissa thing has really just like I've been sitting here like analyzing this thing in my life. Like where did it start? Like, like where did the conflict truly start? And I honestly believe that it started with the fact that Teresa never had siblings, like sisters,
Hmm.
right? Melissa came in. I think that Teresa had a very high expectation of Melissa taking to her like this real sister bond like this. And I think that Melissa didn't look at it the same way because she already had sisters. She's already had this bond. So she just probably came in on some regular standard in-law thing, right?
Mhm.
But I think that Trey had a higher expectation. And when she didn't get that from Melissa, her feelings were hurt. I think that her feelings were absolutely hurt. And I think that she was, once she got Real Housewives, and then she found out Melissa was trying to come in on the back end, she ain't want her to, right? Because she in her feelings. We know Melissa, we know Trey holds a grudge. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got a Scorpio moon. I probably would have did the same thing. But because her feelings was hurt. So she's like, oh, this girl don't want to be sister with me. We could have got on the show together showing how bond like sisterly love, but now she want to come on the back end behind my back and do this and this and that. And I honestly believe this all started from Trey's feelings really getting hurt because she really wanted a relationship with Melissa. Sorry about that. People want to be calling me now, and I'm on. Nobody calling me.
That's what it be like. Nobody call you.
So anyway, okay. So with that being said, I think that they both have gone back and forth, hurting each other like a tennis game. Both back and forth, bong, 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 bong. So it's kind of hard to like. I understand where you guys come from. I'm going off and focusing off the last thing that Trey could have did to hurt Melissa, or vice versa. But at this point, it don't even matter. They both going back and forth, hurting each other. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that Trey does have this unhealthy attachment to her brother, as to why he's expected to take Trey's side over his wife. Once you married, that's your wife. Your wife comes first, whether she right or wrong. You talk about that behind closed doors. But for Trey, sometimes she kind of really, it gave me a little weirdo ancestral feelings with the way she would expect her brother to show up for her, and I think it was just, it was unhealthy. It was unhealthy. I think Louis is still to be determined. I think in all honesty, he's got a lot of underlying traits like Guidice. He's just covert with his, Joe's like, he's a scrappy dude. He is what he is, right? He's rough around the edges. So he's gonna show you all of his messed up like traits in your face. Right. Joe wants to seem likable and whatever. But when they were all having that meeting with Marge, and he's like holding her hand, and he's always holding her hand and doing that grabbing thing, or like, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about all that. That leads to some me believing some of these police reports about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've been in situations like that where I could tell when that's a person trying to control the narrative, But here's what I do have to say. Mm-hmm. If Joe and Melissa were not on the show anymore, right? What would Trey's storyline be? You think we really care about her and Louis' like love affair?
I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but it wouldn't be this. It's just draining.
Well, I don't want it to be this anymore, but what would it be?
And the thing is, though, I think Teresa said it best recently, though. We've seen a lot from Teresa. All we've seen from Joe and Melissa since they've been married is Teresa has been their storyline. We don't know I don't know much else about them other than last season their little girl had her foot hurt or whatever and couldn't cheerlead or whatever.
That's true. That's true. One thing I saw that interview and I said, well, damn, she's right. I mean, her parents died. She went to jail. She had a divorce. She had a wedding. All of that. So, one thing I will say is Trey has been very open and honest with her life on the show, even though she's delusional.
Like the Gorgas, but I would like to see what they could do without having Teresa be the story.
I don't think they have nothing. I think they're boring.
That's why we are capping for Trey, because they are boring.
No, I still won't cap for her though. No.
And
I don't know about that far.
I watched What Happens Live last week when Dolores told Andy they just need to part ways. Andy looked heartbroken at the thought of them not arguing no more.
Right, I know. He's like, oh my God,
everything
seasons, like in the making. Like, no, it's boring. We done with it. We over it.
Yeah, like it's too
much. That horse is dead and dragged, and like, it's over. Like, in all honesty, and honestly, I don't mind Joe staying on the show. Melissa could go. She's boring. Like, she's boring. You know what I mean? Not for nothing, but if the most sexual thing she did in with a thing she don't want to tell people about is, suck on the you boring, girl. I was like, girl.
We do that every night.
I was saying, what's so bad about that?
That's the best.
That's a normal Tuesday.
Like, that's mandatory. Like, what?
Right.
That's a normal Tuesday for me.
Okay, Chess, I gotta let you
go.
Well,
anyway, thank you guys. I don't want to hold you guys up, but now that that New Jersey's back, you're gonna see me on the regular.
I was just gonna say you got to call back
in. I enjoyed you last season, so you can call in and encourage others to call in too. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm reading some of the comments. Billy says Real Housewives New Jersey is low budget and cheap. I will say they don't give them much of a budget, and that's known. But it's still around. We still watching it, and it's not toxic. It ain't toxic. It ain't racist. So I guess we win it, right? Much like these other shows out here. So I take it. But yeah. So with that being said, go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna lay down. A very good recap over the episode. Thank you, Danny and Sammy, and thank you to Chastity and Lisa for calling in today. We'll be here next week at the same time for Real Housewives of New Jersey episode 3. For the Real Housewives of Miami fans, we're gonna have that recap posted. I gotta go out of town this weekend, but that ain't stopping nothing because it's a panel of 4. So it'll be up sometime between now and Monday. Right, and then Potomac will return next Monday. With that being said, thank y'all for watching. Thank you again, Sammy and Danny, and we'll see y'all next time, okay? Y'all have a good night and a good weekend if we don't see y'all. Unless some crazy shit happen online or something, then we have a lunch and link. Good night, y'all.